So we were discussing substitute goods. Another example of substitute goods can be chai and coffee. Okay, tea and coffee. If you go to cafeteria, what you will say? Okay, what you will say to waitress in college cafeteria? You will say, Urid chai. If he says chai mafi, then you will say, okay, atani coffee. Why? Because coffee and tea can be used for same purpose. They may replace each other. So they are substitute goods. Then the other example of related good is complementary goods. Complementary goods are goods with a negative cross elasticity of demand. This sentence is a bit technical, you may not understand at this point of time. So you should understand it like this, that if two goods A and B are used together, then they are complementary goods. One good completes the other good. Example will make it clear. For example, mobile and mobile charger. They are used together. So they are complementary goods. Similarly, DVD and DVD player. They are used together. They are complementary goods. This is our basic demand schedule, which indicates relationship between price and quantity demanded, and this is demand curve, which again indicates relationship between price and quantity demanded in a graphic way, and both demand schedule and demand curve indicates that as price decreases, quantity demanded increase. Now look at this point. If income increases, demand increases, and demand curve move right upward. Where does it move? Right upward. See it again. This is a basic curve. Okay, if demand increases due to any factor like income, okay, if your income increases, you will drink more coffee, you will drink more Coke, you will drink more Pepsi. So demand for goods is increasing, and where the curve will move? Right upward. See it how. And if it decreases, then it moves left downward. So shift in the demand is very important concept. You must remember that when demand increases, demand curve moves right upward. When demand decreases, demand curve moves left downward. Then price of related goods also affect demand. And increase in the price of one results in an increase in the demand for the other good if the goods are substitute. For example, if Pepsi and Coke, as we know, are substitute, if price of Pepsi increase, demand for Coke will also increase. Why? Because due to increase in price of Pepsi, less people will be buying Pepsi and more people will be willing to buy Coke. Because they are substitutes, so we can say that if price increases, then demand also increases, but for substitute good. If price of substitute decreases, demand decreases. This is opposite for complementary goods because they are used together. So if price of DVD increases, demand for DVD player decreases. Because if we cannot buy DVD, there is no need to buy DVD player. Look here. So when initially if we are at this equilibrium point, if price of coffee increases, this upward arrow indicates increase in price of coffee. On y-axis we have price of coffee. What will happen to quantity demanded of coffee? It will go on left side, which means it will decrease. Okay, so the people who are not buying coffee now due to increase in price of coffee will be willing to buy more tea. So demand for tea will increase, and we know that when demand for tea increases, demand curve moves right upwards. So this original demand curve will move to D dash. This is price of a complementary good. So again, if market price of DVD go up, quantity demanded of DVD will go down. So when demand for DVD decreases, obviously DVD is used with DVD player. If demand for DVD is decreasing, demand for DVD player will also decrease. And when demand for DVD player decreases, the curve moves, demand curve moves left downward. This arrow indicates movement towards left and downward. This is an example of a normal good. If income increases, demand increases. When demand increases, demand curve moves right upward. Okay. If your income increases, demand for coffee, demand for chicken, demand for mobile phone, all will increase. And demand curve will move right upward. Inferior good, in case of inferior good, relationship is opposite. When your income increases, demand for inferior good decreases. You remember the example of the judge and others. Another example I gave you, coming to college by bus or by car. So if our conclusion is that if income increases, demand for normal good increases, but demand for inferior good decreases. Then the number of buyers. How many factors we have discussed so far? We have discussed income and price of substitute and price of complements. Now we are going to discuss the number of buyers. Okay, what is your opinion? If right now there are 1200 students in the college and they do their lunch in cafeteria, if number of students double, they become maybe 2500 students. Will demand for food in cafeteria go up or go down? Yes, of course, it will increase because now more students are willing to buy food and eat it. So similarly, when number of buyers in the economy as a whole increase, demand increases. And when demand increases, demand curve moves right upward. Yameen wa fawq. Then expectations. Expectations also affect the demand. For example, if you are willing to buy gold, And if you expect that after 1 month price of gold will go down, will you buy it today or after 1 month? Yes, after 1 month, because you expect prices to go down after 1 month. You will not buy it today. So it means that your expectations about the future have affected the demand today. So a higher expected future price will increase the current demand, and a lower expected future price will decrease the current demand.